Hello, everyone, and welcome to this great video, the 5 reasons why corporate visions returned to Sage Intacct. My name is David Apple, head of the SaaS vertical here at Sage Intacct, and joining me is Brandy Johnson, the controller of Corporate Visions. Brandy, would you just tell everybody a little bit about you and who is Corporate Visions?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been with Corporate Visions for a little under 10 years now. We are a sales and marketing alignment training company that uses the most recent science-backed technology to help our customers be the best they can be in marketing and sales.
They're on fire. The magic secret sauce they have really transforms CRO departments, and that drives a lot of growth in the business. And that's put a lot of pressure on Brandy over the course of the 10 years. What are the 5 reasons that you had briefly left us to an older product and didn't work out, and then you came back to us?
Yeah, so to make a very long story short, we were with Intacct from 2010 to 2016, made the decision to transition to another ERP system. It was a failed implementation, and within 12 months made the decision to quickly return to Intacct and bring everything back into focus with the best and the best products that are available out there. We returned to Intacct in 2018, replaced an accounting team, had to get a bunch of people up to speed and going quickly on a system that they'd never seen before. So we were able to do that with Intacct because of the training materials and the just ease of use in general for the system. Got that up and going, reduced our chart of accounts. We cut that in half by 75%. I think we went from 7,000 GL accounts to
the people listening right to this right now are just like, oh my God, I'm there now. How do I get out of this? Please keep going.
So dimensions are great. The huge one for Intacct. We also implemented the contracts and projects module when we came back to the system, which is was new to us as a company. It made what was already a pretty robust revenue recognition model that we had with order entry even more robust with the contracts and renewal processes and all of the functionality that contracts has available for SaaS companies and companies that have to recognize revenue on different levels. So like our IP is recognized over time, but we have milestone deliveries and we have workshops that we deliver. So our revenue has to be recognized in all these different ways to meet, 606. So contracts gives us that functionality.
We're going to get into the impact of this on the next slide, but this is as your volume's gone to an incredible amount of 3,000 contracts with 1 to 5 contract amendments in a given month on a contract. You've done all that and taken the close from 15 days to 5 days. So volume's up gargantuanly, but the efficiency is there because you've got a clean billing across the subscription and the projects in one module. It's an amazing outcome you guys have had. So
yeah, absolutely.
I interrupted. Please, point 4.
No. The customization. So one of the things that Intacct allows is for a lot of customizations, custom dimensions within submodules. We can make it our system and meet our needs with all these different things that we might need in AR, AP, and different modules, but all of the upgrades still happen seamlessly and in the background, and it doesn't break. So you don't have to schedule out upgrades. You don't have to schedule around different things that most companies that do releases, you have to like shut your system down and not do it because it might break a customization. That doesn't happen with Intacct. So, and then the other big win was audit.
Can I interrupt just on that one because for you, our listener, you need the business flexibility as the business changes. You make acquisitions, marketing comes up with a new product line, sales gets twisted in a pretzel by procurement. The ability to handle all that and have it model up. That's what I love so much about this one is you're able to then bring a lot more fluid model to the executive team to have a more innovative business. So.
Yeah, definitely. And when I talk about customizations, there's also 2 different types of customizations and dimensions and stuff. There's the dimensions that hit the general ledger. So like those are functionality that if you have more dimensions that come standard, you can purchase and you can add all the different dimensions that you need to report to the general ledger accurately. But you also have dimensions and custom fields, however you want to call them, that can sit on the submodules. So like if I have a URL or something specific to corporate visions that I need to track in expenses or in accounts payable or on a contract, I can add that custom field to my submodule, and it's just there. I can report on it when I'm reporting out of that module. It doesn't report to the general ledger, but I can report on it and have it be very custom to CVI, and that doesn't break. It doesn't like not work after an upgrade.
That's such a pain in everybody. And I love this last one because there's so much fun to the job of being a world-class controller, but then having to have compliance and audits is you need it, you want it, you want the pride of it, but you don't want it to be a time suck. So what happened on this last one?
Right. So audits are obviously a time suck for most businesses, but in 2020, obviously every business had to figure out how to do an audit remotely because nobody was going to an office, people weren't in offices. So businesses had to pivot in 2020 and figure out how to get these, what were normally in-person events, taken care of. And in our case, we simply granted access to our accounting system, to our auditors. All of our attachments, all of our invoices, all of our AP invoices, everything, our contracts are all attached to each individual segment of Intact. So when we granted them access, where we would normally have a random sample list provided to us and we would have to pull down all of this stuff and send it and you'd have to go back and forth with it, we just gave them access to the system and they did it. They assigned a bunch of people to it and they I don't know how many samples they did in our audit. Like they could have looked at everything or nothing, but they did all of that legwork. None of my people, in fact, I think it was the first audit in history for Corporate Visions where my accounts payable never pulled a single invoice. God, not one.
Amazing.
All the sampling was done by the auditors and their junior partners, or junior affiliates. So it was really seamless, saved us a ton of money, ton of time, and we were able to focus on the things that mattered during the audit, not a bunch of busy work that took up a bunch of people's time.
5 great reasons, all classic 5 reasons that people are looking for as they go through this. Let's just briefly talk about the business results on here. Is how the improve the number of contracts and the number of line items that you got there, all the while the number of contract amendments are happening. But would you share with a little bit everybody about what happened in your payment process and just making that a lot cleaner?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the functionalities that Intact has in the accounts payable side of things and paying expenses is there's a payment manager functionality that in our case syncs up with our bank, and it takes all of our payment cycles down to a couple clicks of a couple buttons. So our AP person will go in and they'll select the bills that they want to pay on a given day. That takes them about 5 minutes to do because there's a bunch of filters and you can just filter all the payments on a given day. They click, select everything that needs to be paid by different payment types, check, ACH, wire, all of them are available. Those batches are submitted, and then as the signer on the bank or the approver, I go in and I review them really quick. All of them are there. If I need to dig in, I can. There's hyperlinks to the invoices and stuff. But for me, approving a payment cycle takes less than 15 minutes for me on a given day. So across my entire team, it's 15 minutes to do a daily payment cycle, regardless of volume. So that could be paying one vendor or paying 500 vendors. It's the same impact. The only amount of time I have to spend is really going through and digging into details if I have a question about a payment that's been selected to be issued. And then the system automatically sends that file over to my bank. The bank processes it. I get a confirmation back, usually within like 5 minutes of that file being transferred over. The payments are recorded in the system, batch done, payment cycle finished. So instead of doing weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly payment runs because they were so time consuming before when you'd have to go to the bank and back and forth, or print manual checks off yourself, which now that we're not in an office, you can't do that anymore. Now we just click buttons and the bank takes care of it for us, and it's all recorded in the system and seamless. So that's a huge time saver for us.
I just love how these things you did up front on making it easy for the product to learn, simplifying it down, tying in the order to cash process with 3,000 contracts, 27 line items, and then handling the customizations and all that. you're able to make a business that takes the close from 15 down to 5 days. And as all that volume's going up, taking head count down and then even getting the profit and loss more accurate. It's such an amazing story. And for everybody listening, there's a little secret sauce that we do on this. Is just we try to we do give you the most complete finance tech stack that's out there, all the way from prospect to disclosure. Feel free to pause this in order to see, but the major components that you need are all in the system, all tied around the GL with that data coming in. So you've got system of record to do your reporting against and for that clean audit across with your taking your close down an incredible amount and having great reporting all at the back end with the audit and compliance that you need. And you build a beautiful dashboard like this. There's so many versions of you can get. This one simply across entities and then across revenue types, budget versus actuals, because you've got a tighter close with all the data in one place. And if you wish to learn more, simply go to sageintact.com/easyclimb. Brandy, any final thoughts for our viewer?
No, that's something that did come to mind when you were showing that beautiful circle of all those different functionalities. You guys are always releasing new functionality. So there's always something new that's coming out that, again, seamlessly integrates if a company wants to adopt it. So something that we're taking on now is dynamic allocations. So it'll be yet another new module that you guys have come out with relatively recently, I believe, or it's at least new to us. We're going to launch it and see how it goes, and the power behind it, I think, is going to be huge. So the new stuff that's constantly coming is really cool too.
Thank you. Thank you for being our customer. Thank you for doing this video for me and for our viewer. We hope this gave you a viewpoint of how you can be a leader in your company, structure the transformation, and then the wonderful business outcomes you can get out of the back end. I look forward to possibly meeting you in the process. Thank you again, Brandy. Everybody, please have a great day.